right, everybody, welcome to KCE Racing Tuesday Night Gen 4 Series at Martinsville. You got Coco and Matt in the booth tonight. Matt, how's it going, buddy?
Going really good, man. Happy to be here for tonight's race at Martinsville. Out on track with these guys qualifying right now. Be a fun race to watch tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race. The short track racing always brings tempers and interesting action here at Martinsville.
Yeah, pretty good field size tonight. We have I think 19, 20 cars are going to be looking to post down a qualifying lap here. Looking now, Tim Kennedy's got your provisional pole, P1. Moulton right behind him right now on the board. Let's see how these guys finish out qualifying here.
Yeah, it looks like we still got quite a few guys out there that can qualify, doing their 2 laps. We got Gary Kipfer on screen right now in the number 24 DuPont Chevy. He's doing his qualifying lap. We'll see what Gary comes back with.
Yeah, Gary looked like he put down P8. Go ahead and answer him, Coco. Jay Crable out on track, looking to post time.
Can I ask you a quick question? I keep on getting the synchronization errors on TeamSpeak. Do you remember where we went to change something that was supposed to help with that? Do you know? No worries, thank you.
Yeah, Matt, as we were watching these guys go around, 87 sitting there putting some laps down.
Yeah, I think 87 is going to be one of the last to post-qualifying lap. P3 with his lap. Good qualifying effort from Crable.
And we got the Kodak 84 Brian the Bull Glass. That's a new sponsor on his hood at the Kroger in the blue, which totally threw me off during practice. But yeah, he said that's legit now, huh?
Yeah, it looks good. That blue on orange Kodak, it's a pretty good scheme he's got going there. We saw Glass warming up the tires a little bit, trying to get a little heat in them, I think, for these 2 qualifying laps. First lap he put down P10 for Brian. Let's see what he does with lap 2 here.
Last lap was a 20.03.
Brian coming out of 4, looking for that flag. See where he ends up on the board.
P4. Yeah, 19.87.
Yeah, nice lap.
Yeah, what are you thinking here, Matt, tonight? You thinking, in KCE racing style, it always seems like at Martinsville we get those couple or few caution flags in the beginning, and then it's up for long green flag runs.
Yeah, I think you're going to see that as guys are trying to settle out with their cars. You're going to catch, I think, a couple early cautions. But I think you're right. Here at KCE Racing, I think you're going to see those long green flag runs middle to the end of the race. End of the race, if guys are fighting for those positions, could be a couple late cautions. We'll just see how heated these guys get with one another on track tonight.
Yeah, like I said, keeping the tempers down, making sure the bumpers stay off each other, I think is going to be key. And it looks like we're switching over now to their drivers meeting, where they'll go over the do's and don'ts of KCE racing rules, things of that nature. So while we're sitting in the drivers meeting and letting them do their thing, Matt, what do you think we just go ahead and take a quick break here and come back when they're getting ready closer to race time?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Well, listen, everybody, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, Matt. Looks like we're back for their pit party, which is a simulated race start of some practice. We'll see how we go here. Getting ready to take the green.
Yep, guys are going. Green flag is out. Pit party practice. KCE in Martinsville tonight. Oh, see the 44 in the back of the 15, Spencer. That's why they do this pit party, guys. Got to get the bugs out.
Yeah, you could watch the braking zone was a little different than the 44 was anticipating, I believe.
Yeah, a lot of those guys will reset. Come see another wreck out up here. Like the 84, Brian Glass, and at the back of the 12, Buzz Mungold there.
Well, one of the things here at KCE Racing that we see all the time is these guys will do crazy stuff in the pit party testing. That's to figure out how their brakes are going to react and how their throttles are going to react, and what it's like to be behind, a car inches going into a turn at, 90 miles an hour. So you'll see a lot of that beating, banging around in the practice times.
Yeah, it looks like admins out on track might be re-racking this, getting everybody staged back up, try to go again. Not a bad idea. And, I think you're right. We see this a lot in pit party. Guys haven't necessarily had the practice around, 6 other cars around them that close through the half-hour practice before this. So they're not quite sure where that braking distance is going to back up, especially if they're deeper in that field.
And remember, Matt, there ain't no reset buttons once the green flag really drops.
Yeah, and guys know that. They tend to be a little bit more patient on the green flag of the actual race. This is just a good point for them to kind of learn. On TeamSpeak, we're going to do an interview with Buzz at about 4 minutes to go, correct? I will pull him up.
And there we go again. We got a rear wheel spin out of the 64 on that restart.
Yeah, 64 Nick Murphy in that Scotts.com Ford. No idea, I can look it up.
Is it like 900 or something?
I guess that's what happens when you
850, 900.
pull 900 horsepower to the gas pedal and the rear wheels just want to break loose, huh, Matt?
Yeah, a lot of horsepower, especially on cold tires on this flat track. Martinsville, it's got that combination asphalt and concrete mix, so you got to be aware of where you're at on track when you're hitting that throttle. Coco, while we're in practice here, I'm going to jump over to a driver I seen out on track. Daniel Bonner in that 42 Blockbuster video paint scheme. That's kind of a throwback feel, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely a throwback feel. Looking forward to talking to him. You going to pull him up into the booth?
Yeah, we can pull him up here in the booth. Let me see if I can grab Daniel Bonner up here. Give me just a second. Daniel Bonner, this is Matt and Coco up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I hear you guys.
Daniel, welcome to the race tonight, man. Glad to see you out on track in that 42 Ford. We just talking, I like your sponsor you got out on track tonight, Blockbuster Video. That's a throwback.
Yeah, thanks. I kind of thought we're doing a throwback league. Why not have something from the time? I spent plenty of nights walking around those aisles trying to find something to watch, and felt like something fun to paint up.
I can certainly remember that. That was pre-Netflix days, going back into Blockbuster Video in the evenings. But how's the car feeling out there for you, man? What do you think you're going to do tonight?
I mean, I'm still pretty new around here. Martinsville would not be one of my favorites. I think it's going to be a night where I'm going to try to do my darndest to just keep the Blockbuster car looking clean on its debut. And I don't even know if I can accomplish that, but we'll try. 2 drag strips and 2 hairpins. It's going to be an adventure for everyone, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely got 20 cars out on track tonight, so going to be some tight racing. Looking at the starting, I think you might be starting deep in the field, so got some ground to make up, but good luck. And Coco, what do you got for Daniel here?
I just want to say, Daniel, I love the car. It looks great out there. And I just want to say, remember, be kind, rewind, right, brother?
You got it. Absolutely.
All right, buddy. Good luck tonight, and you just keep the fenders on her.
Great. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
That was Daniel Bonner in the 42 Blockbuster Video Ford.
Giving us a little time to chat and telling us he just wants to keep that guy in one piece. You know, I think that's what it's going to be. You want to be there in the end. You got to keep the wheels on it. You got to keep the fenders on it, right?
You know, you talk about time, and I just keep going back to my Blockbuster Video days when I was younger. That is a good-looking car.
It is. It is. You know, and they had the niche with the ticket. You know, the Blockbuster Square ticket, like a movie theater.
I'm kind of scared. We better quit talking about them. I might still have a late fee floating out there.
You're gonna have the detective come to your house like a library book.
I think they still have one location that's open. If I remember reading, I see it in the feeds every now and then. I think there is still one open Blockbuster in the U.S.
We'll have to get our statisticians that we don't have on that, huh?
Yeah, all the guys we got up here in the booth helping.
Well, you got 2 admins, the 24 and the... Is that the 57? There's an admin sitting there battling it out. I was waiting for them to put each other in the wall.
Yeah, they're gonna test each other out here, see what each car's got.
You know, if you actually heard some of the chit-chat between these 2 drivers, Gary and Joe have always been kind of working together. Gary, you know, not afraid to share his settings, not afraid to share what he's found out about a car. Shares it regularly with all the drivers, and I think you know, Joe has come a long way working together with them.
Yeah, Coco, I want to grab another driver, bring him up in the booth. Buzz Mongold. Let me see if I can drag him up.
Buzz Mongold in at number 12, pink and black car. I'm going to leave that pink there for Matt to discuss.
Buzz, you got Coco and Matt up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Buzz, good to see you out here tonight. You caught us last week. I got a message from you after the broadcast. We were trying to figure out your sponsor last week, and I think we got it down now. You got Pink Whitney Lemonade Vodka on that car.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, for all of our viewers of legal age to partake, is that a good cocktail mixture? Or are you taking that straight?
It's actually good enough. I have been known to take it just over ice, but I usually mix it with Sprite or lemonade or my favorite Mountain Dew or Baja Blast.
Of course, responsibly, right?
Yeah, without question. I only drink responsibly.
Yeah. Buzz, we're on board with you here, watching you go around and getting some final practice laps in. Got a little bit of fighting a little bit of front lockup in that car, it looks like, tonight. Tell us what you're feeling and how you think the race is going to go tonight.
Yeah, just trying to get the right setting before we start here in about a minute, and I think once you get in the rhythm, it's pretty good. I think I had a good rhythm. My first one in practice did about 50 laps, and I kind of like where that was. I just kind of got to remember what I was doing and apply it to the race.
That's awesome. Well, Buzz, we got our cameraman closer to the track tonight here in Martinsville, looks like, so we'll definitely try to get that Pink Whitney sponsor some TV time tonight. Good luck to you, man. Hope you have a good race. Starting deep in the field, so got a ways to make up.
All right. Looking forward to it.
All right, good luck, Buzz.
right, thank you.
Do it.
All right, now we're going to take a quick break here just to remember why we're here and what we're doing. This is going to be your quick little 2-minute break with the Gen 4 series commercial.
Just short from Buck.
All right, everybody, welcome back as we get ready to grid and start the race tonight on this Tuesday night Gen 4 racing experience. Matt, let's go through our lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be a good race. 20 cars out on track tonight. Tim Kennedy, 88 Chevrolet, out on pole. Chris Moulton, 95 to his outside. Jay Crable starting P3. Brian Glass starting P4. Phil Sarnowski, P5. Spencer Britton to his outside in that 15 Chevy. In P7, Nick Murphy in the 64. P8 is Shane Bowie. P9, Joseph Brockway. Starting 10th, Sean Kaiser. 11th, Paul Gall. 12th, Gary Kipfer. Starting 13th, we have Sam Drought. 14th is Daniel Bonner. P15 is Mitch Mitchell. To his outside, Shane Fletcher in 16th. Then Donald Bonner in P17. Edwin Post in 18th. Spencer Britton P19. And Gary Kipfer starting position 20.
All right, as we get ready to take the green here, Matt, it looks like we are all lined up and ready to go.
Green flag is out. 160 laps, Martinsville, KCE Racing. 95, Chris Moulton gets a good jump on that outside, holding 88, Tim Kennedy down low. Kennedy gets the good run. Moulton fighting back on the outside.
Looks like we got some side-by-side racing all the way through the field. This is going to be a white-knuckled race all race long.
Yeah, good clean start. Car in the wall towards the back. I seen that was Jim Felix in the wall, but it looks like he kept it going. Tim's going to get the lead out front of Moulton in P2. Jay Crable coming P3. Single file, your top three right now. Brian Glass behind them, P4. First double file looks like Shane Bowie and Sean Kaiser fighting for that sixth position.
Yeah, Shane Bowie on the inside of that number 2. That number 2's hung out to dry. That second line really doesn't work any way through the race, but I guess if you're going to try it early.
Yeah, we saw a car on the low side there. Spencer Britton, 15. I believe he's serving a penalty from last week's race. Whole field is just about all single filed out now.
Yeah, it didn't take them too long, 4 laps to get single file, but these are all smart drivers. Most of these racers are our veteran drivers in KCE racing, and they know that battling is just going to waste their tires and waste their equipment, right, Matt?
Yeah, especially on a track like this flat track. And the corner speed is going to eat up those tires, especially on that concrete surface.
I do want to jump back to Gary Kipfer in the back here. He had something go wrong with him. He is actually being caught by the leaders right now. I do see him kind of coming out of the turn there, but if you look in our screen there, you can see that Tim Kennedy has him, in his sights.
Yeah, Gary was another driver, I think, from last week that had a penalty to serve. So I think he took it down pit road early and is out there fighting to try to maintain.
Stay on that lead lap so that if a caution comes out, can get back in the field and back in that race.
Yeah, diving down early like he did, I think he was able to stay on the track as the leaders were getting up to speed, stay on that lead lap.
Yeah, Gary's battling for his life right now. It looks like the 15 just came out of pit lane as well. Wonder if he got caught up in something early.
Yeah, I believe the 15 got a couple laps down, serving that penalty. Might have had another little penalty getting on and off pit road there. I jumped back to Tim and P2 Chris Moulton. Moulton caught back up. Tim had a little bit of a gap on him. I think with that traffic coming into play already, it's tightening that lead pack back up. Yeah, I don't think any that actually were crashes. I think they were all like wall taps and stuff.
Yeah, these guys you can tell are seasoned, right? They're all kind of just taking their time, realizing that 160 laps, even at Martinsville, is a long race, right? So they're going to take their time. They're going to pick their battles and get it done, which is better for us up here in the booth, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is a long race tonight. Watching these guys in practice, we did not see a lot of fall off on the tires. Anywhere from about 7/10 to a second over the lifespan of these tires. Now, fuel run tonight's going to be 91 laps, and although these tires aren't wearing a whole lot, they're definitely putting a lot of heat in them, so it's tightening that car up a little bit.
Yeah, the drivers were saying, in the practice that, around 35 laps, they actually start to feel that little push, that tightness, right?
Yeah, we see on screen there Spencer getting ahead of Kipfer, trying to get at least one lap back on him. If the string of cautions plays out like we've seen happen sometimes, those two will be fighting one another for that lucky dog position at some point.
I know Gary's luck. We're going to have end-to-end green flag run here, and Gary's never getting it back. That's just Gary's luck.
Yeah, jumped on board with your leader as he's making that move to the inside of Gary. That'll put Kipfer down 2 laps. Tim out front, your leader. While we're on board, Coco, look at how flat this track is. There's only 12 degrees of banking in these concrete corners here at Martinsville.
You can't say it. They call it the paper clip, right? 2 different corners. But all in all, it's flat all the way around, right?
Yeah, you're 0 on the front and back stretch, only 12 in the corners.
The yellow flag is out.
Got a yellow out. See if we can jump out and see what happened here. I can see the crash on there. It's not letting me go to it. It's Jim Felix and Ed Post crashed, is what it says.
So here we're looking at the yellow flag reason. Let's see what happens here. Edwin looks like he's kind of getting out of shape there, coming up a little high, but let's see if maybe he cuts down. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is going to involve the 79 Edwin Post and the 4 as they come up here this next corner. going. Keep going forward. Sorry, folks, we're working with our camera operators here, see if we can get you the cause of this caution.
2 to go for green.
Coco, I believe, according to my log, the 79 and the 4 were involved in this crash. I wonder if we just keep watching here for a second and see if we can see what happens between these two guys.
You could see the floor kind of high in the middle there, but nothing else.
One to go.
Well, we'll keep looking for that for you. There it is right there before it gets into the back end of the 79.
Yeah, let's see if we can get one quick look at that, and then we're going to jump back for the restart. Yeah, you can see that 79 just checks up just enough. The 4 is probably not anticipating that slow corner speed, gets in the back of him there.
We'll go back to our live view right now. The pace car drops off, and we're getting ready to take that green flag, Matt.
Yeah, Tim's starting on that inside line. Chris Moulton on his outside. Crable P3. Brian Glass outside P4.
Green.
Green is out. Lap 20, 1 of 160 these guys are running. Tim gets a better launch on that inside lane. He should come out of turn 2 here with the lead. He does. Moulton settles P2 in behind him. Crable still back there fighting Brian Glass to his outside for that 3rd position.
Brian Glass hung out on the outside. Like I said, I'm not quite sure that's the place to be.
Yeah, it doesn't appear like that outside line is working for these guys, at least early in the run. We'll see how it works for them later as these tires get some heat in them. But unless you hold that guy down on that inside lane and pinch him on that exit, they're going to, I think, have the advantage on that bottom line.
Brian slides in right in front of the 55 there, getting his spot on the low line, getting him back into the rhythm.
Yeah, 2 wide behind them. You've got Sean Kaiser and the 44 of Paul Gall side by side. Paul got the advantage on the outside that go around. That outside might be working well for that 44. That run off the corner there definitely gets him clear. Paul stays pretty patient. He could have dove down there on entry. Lets the 2 get back to his inside there. Those guys get that position settled out.
Looks like the 57's making a move on the outside there. Joseph Brockway, he didn't make the move. He looks like he came out ahead there, Matt.
Yeah, he did. You know, looking back, I think big winner on that last caution, Coco, was the 24, Gary Kipford, now back on the lead lap with that lucky dog.
Yeah, Gary earned his spot back in this race.
Yeah, he's going to have the entire field to work through. You see Brockway slide up, gets on the asphalt in that corner. That is not the place to be with the marbles up there. Definitely lose a little grip just with the track surface, and then you throw the marbles and the tires on that, and that car just will not turn.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that's a weird feeling when you're driving. Is like you go into that corner, you turn the wheel, and the car just keeps going up to the wall. It puts that pit in your stomach every time, you know?
Yeah, we just seen Brockway get in the wall again. Still got dirty tires. They take a little bit to clear off if you get up that high and dirty those tires.
Yeah, Gary is like a shark in the water smelling blood. Noticed that the 57 was having some problems and it's going to take that spot.
Yeah, 24 clears, 57 of Brockway. Moves up into top 15. Let's jump back up front, check out our leaders. Tim Kennedy still out front of Chris Moulton by 4/10.
Yeah, Chris coming off of turn 2 there showed a little wiggle in that rear end, you know. You got to watch, you know, as we were saying that earlier, you got 900 horsepower, and once those tires get a little slick, you kind of got to ease into that throttle. Not so much of an off and on switch.
Yeah, Kogo, we're sitting here watching the current top 2 in our point standings here in the Gen 4 series. This is race 4 in our current season. Moulton, your current points leader with 2 wins. Tim right behind him.
Yeah, these boys are definitely, always at the top of the list and always ready to battle. So I hope, and I hope that Chris just keeps him in sight for now. Still a lot of laps go, and takes care of his equipment, and then battles him at the end. Hey, Matt, that brings me to a good point. We did not make a pick this week.
We did not, and I think I'm going to make a rule that we can't pick the top 2 because these guys right now appear to be running away from this. Let's see if we can grab a sleeper pick. Who you got?
I'm going to go with a Mitch Mitchell currently in 12th position.
I think I'm going to go with Brian Glass, the 84 in P5.
Oh, okay. Brian Glass. Okay, that's not a bad pick. Brian's always there at the end if he can stay out of the mess, that gets created. But with this race, the way it's going and the way I'm seeing it at this time, we're going to have a lot of green flag runs. So these boys got to be talking to their pit crews and getting ready for long green flag runs, not the quick caution.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the tires hold up tonight for these guys. Fuel runs about 91 laps, so these guys can, in theory, do this race on just one stop. I don't think the driver is going to want to do that. Crew chief might. Driver's going to be screaming for those tires.
I think so, but I will take a quick break here, Matt, and just say that I know we have a new viewer out there tonight. Her name is Michelle, and she has a pick of the number 12 Buzz. So say hello to Michelle. How you doing, Michelle? Welcome to KCE Racing League Tuesdays night Gen 4 series, and we got your pick as number 12.
Are we picking the driver or the sponsor? We got a chance to talk with Buzz there pre-race with that Pink Whitney lemonade vodka sponsorship on the car.
Well, if he's not been drinking it, then it might be an okay pick.
Definitely could be, definitely. Well, Kogo, let's while these guys are out here running green flag after green flag, let's run through our field real quick. Tim Kennedy in that 88 Chevrolet, currently P1, started first and is still leading lap 40 of 160 tonight. Chris Moulton behind him, P2, lost a little bit of ground to your leader, but still within reaching distance for that 95. Jay Crable, the 87 P3, behind him Phil Sarnowski in position 4. 5th place, Brian Glass in that Kroger Kodak. Coco, why don't you take us through the rest of the top 10? Let's start with P6.
P6, you got Shane Bowie in the number 55. In the P7, Sam Drought in that number 73, silver and blue, looking pretty out there. And P8, you got Paul Gall, number 44. P9 is Donald Bonner in the 119. I'm going to stop here for a minute with Donald Bonner. He's a 119. Triple digit means he's a rookie. And I want to just shout out some kudos to him for showing up at a difficult track with a difficult car, putting some things down, and is currently shown in the 9th position. The 10th position is Sean Kaiser in the number 2. We saw Sean battling quite a few cars earlier in the race. Sean's doing a great job hanging out in P10. Matt, you got P11.
Yeah, P11, Nick Murphy in that 64, Scott's Ford. P12, Daniel Bonner in that lovely Blockbuster Video 42 Ford. Mitch Mitchell in that home and boat rental Keys, Florida in P13. P14, Buzz Mongold in that pink Whitney Monte Carlo. P15, we have Shane Fletcher, Waffle House 34.
Making me hungry.
It's Waffle House is good at about 3 a.m.
And you got to be a little tilted. Okay, on P16, we got Gary Kipford at number 24, who got his lap back after serving a penalty within the first 3 laps. P17, we have Joseph Brockaway in the 57. P19 is Spencer Britton, currently 1 lap down. And then we have Edwin Pope sitting in, rounding off our complete field top 20.
Yeah, it's good to see. We got through the whole field there. It's good to see all 20 drivers still out on track working Martinsville Speedway tonight.
Now you see that 79 there. You don't have to go back to him, but I'll let you know his sponsor is Jack Daniels. And if I'm going with the Pink Whitney versus the Jack Daniels, I'm sticking with my boy Edwin Post.
Can't go wrong with a Jack and Coke.
Not at all.
Yeah, I want to jump back up. You touch base in the walk through the field there, jumping back to our rookie Donald Bonner in that 119. It's good. It's really good to see these rookie drivers out here competing with the veteran guys here at KCE Racing, and they get a very good early sense of what this league is about and the clean, hard racing that the entire field brings.
Yeah, it's some guys are afraid to come into. They're a little, afraid to come into like a Martinsville, a Bristol, some of those more difficult, or I don't even want to say difficult, but grueling tracks, that you have to focus from, second one of the green flag drop to the checkered flag. And it's nice to see him out here, not only, possibly learning from other guys, but being part of that community that we built here, right?
Yeah, and while we're on Donald here, big props to our rookie tonight. Looking right now, our hard charger up 11 spots from his starting position of 20th, because these rookies, they're not allowed to qualify in this league. They've got to kind of prove themselves for a little bit before they're able to lay down qualifying laps when they get their double-digit number. So up 11 spots tonight, putting on a good showing so far.
And I don't see a scratch on that car, do you?
No, looks really good. Good, fast, clean laps. He's looking at Paul Gall out in front of him, trying to hunt down P8.
If you've joined us before, too, Paul Gall is no slouch in the KCE Racing League. So if 119's being able to hang with the 44, 119's doing a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul is no slouch. 26 starts in the Gen 4 series here at KCE Racing. So definitely a seasoned veteran here. Knows what he's doing out on track, knows how to race.
Yeah, Matt, we're coming up on 55 laps we got now. We're coming up on 60 laps. These guys are putting them down tonight.
Yeah, jumping back up, check with our leaders. Kennedy stretched that lead out to about 1.5 seconds over P2 Moulton.
Well, being we're in Martinsville, I think I see a hot dog wrapper out there on the track. I think that's some debris.
Yeah, looking out on track, just looking for our closest battles. We've got Buzz looking at the 21, Mitch Mitchell for P13 right now. Mitchell goes high, Buzz gets that inside, looking for to complete that pass here on exit, and he does.
So let's get this straight. So the 21 has the Pink Whitney alcohol in front of him, which we have to start with, and then behind him getting ready to make a pass is the Waffle House. I think that's the greatest combination there is.
That's a pretty good combination. Phil Sarnowski, P4's getting closer to that back bumper, the 87. Jay Crable hunting down that podium spot right now.
Yeah, if you can look, if our viewers will look, you can look at those front tires and look at the brake calipers, the brake discs, just glowing in this nighttime air here. You can tell how hard they are on those brakes, right, Matt?
Yeah, these guys are getting hard on the brakes on entry into 1 and 3, trying to let that car rotate center and get that car as straight as they can on exit to carry as much
Leaders
momentum
approaching back
off as they
markers.
can.
Do it again later.
Jump back up to Tim, who's catching the back of the field. So lap traffic starting to going to play a role here, Coco.
Yeah, the back of the field's going to possibly slow Tim down a little bit, and it depends on how well Tim gets around the traffic compared to Chris Moulton getting around the traffic. That might close some of that gap, right?
Yeah, it depends on the guys out front, just how hard they're fighting to stay on that lead lap. We just saw that lead go from about a second and a half down to about 1.3 seconds. So it's definitely going to play a role. Could work to the advantage of Moulton and P2 if these guys are fighting that leader to stay on that lead lap.
Yeah, I watched Tim come off of, I believe it was turn 4, scraping the wall a little bit there. Don't think it made any damage or any problem, but definitely getting I bet that's going to get a little bit of a, he's got a little bit of a push now late in the run, right?
Yeah, you can see out in front of your leader that gap now down to 1 second. So that 21 car out in front of Tim is fighting to keep his position on the lead lap, and he has every right to do so, fighting in case that caution comes out. So these guys are going to work a little bit harder to keep that 88 behind him. Once he gets around, that 95, I think, has an easier job. They're not fighting so hard.
No, they will fight the leader, but once the leader has got them, they're just trying to stay in that lucky dog position, which is, behind that leading pack, so to speak, right?
Yeah, we just seen Tim get around Mitch Mitchell in P16, so he's going to be your current lucky dog. Tim looking out ahead to the 2024 to try and put him back down a lap again in this race. Gary, early in the race, had that penalty, was able to get back on the lead lap with that lucky dog, so going to try to fight again, maintain that position.
All I got to say to my buddy in the 24 is, run, Forrest, run!
Yeah, he's going to have to go pretty quick. If that 24 can get around the 79 Edwin Post there, that would give him a little bit of a buffer to that 88.
88 takes a nice hard in on that 24. Gary shows a 3 wide with the 79, but Vouch is out of that, right?
Yeah, trying to be smart. He's still in that lucky dog position, so he's got a little bit before Tim catches that next car out in front, 34 of Fletcher. Leader coming around, complete lap 68 of 160 tonight. Coco, why don't you pull up our pit chart while we were looking for the cause of that first caution. We weren't really looking out on track to see if anybody hit pit road. I'm curious to know if anybody went in for fuel and tires in that stop.
Absolutely. Let's look in and see what we can find out about this pit strategy that took place. There you go. Our pit strategy board and stint length at this point. This is where everybody kind of pitted. You see 69, lap 69, lap 70. Matt, we got Mongold.
Yeah, Buzz looked like he went in around lap 17 for that first pit, along with Kipfer and P15. So those guys have a little bit more fuel in the tank. That could work out in favor for Kipfer if he catches that caution later in this pit cycle if the leaders start coming down for fuel.
Yeah, these guys got 70 laps on their tires, and we were talking about lap 35 actually showing wear, right? So these guys are definitely fighting a tight condition probably at this point.
Yeah, we're coming on about 20 laps where we should start to see these leaders dive in if their strategy is a fuel strategy and not a tire strategy.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and check real quick, Matt, while we have this up. Just I want to look at our pit stop times. And if you look at our pit stop times, not long on Kipfer and Mongold, so they were in and out pretty good.
Yeah, that appears to be just a fuel only or maybe just right sides with a 6-second stop in there.
Yeah, you had Edwin in the beginning with that caution flag that we had fly at 134, so he had to get some work done.
Yeah, I get a little bit of damage repaired after that contact with the 4. We saw there as we were looking at the pitch strategy, the 88 got around the 34 of Fletcher to put P14 one lap down. Fletcher now in that lucky dog position. As these tires are wearing, one thing I'm noticing looking out on track, Coco, these guys are giving that curb a little bit more room. I think if they get any lower and get on top of that curbing here at Martinsville, they're risking that car jumping out from under them.
Yeah, I definitely think that they're entering in a little higher so that they're not pushing out so much, because they already got that push. They need as much kind of straight line as they can get, right?
Yeah, jump back look here at the 73 and 30 battling for P5. That's Sam Drought in P6 looking up ahead of Phil Sarnowski.
I'm looking at our scoreboard, Matt, and it looks like we still have the top 17 on the lead lap, and we have 3 cars that are laps down. Jim Felix, Spencer Britton, and Edwin Post only dealing with that. And I do see Sean, is it the 55 coming down pit lane?
Yeah, Shane Bowie, 55, and that Budweiser throwback paint scheme coming down getting fuel and tires on that Chevy.
He comes in at around lap 78, 79, and I expect to see many more coming down, as we do see the 95, Chris Moulton, jumping into pit lane as well.
Yeah, Moulton pitting from P2. Let's see if that draws the leader in, and it does. Tim Kennedy hitting pit road.
Yeah, Tim came in at the same time, and the thing is it looks like these boys are splitting it in half.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the best strategy for these guys tonight.
We are halfway through our race right now, and we will definitely get back once we circulate these pit stops to bring you back and give you our race leaderboard and figure all this out once we get these pit stops done.
Yeah, Jay Crable on pit road.
What happened to the Waffle House? Looks like we had some carnage out on track there.
Yeah, Shane Fletcher in that 34 missing the front bumper of that car. No, we're good.
One thing here, though, Matt, is, as much as you don't like to see it, your bumper, your wing, it really doesn't play as much of a factor here on a smaller track. It does play a factor, but it's not like you're at Michigan or Pocono or somewhere like that.
Yeah, you've definitely got some leeway, and it's a good thing you do on these short tracks with the aero package. These cars being so close to one another, and the braking zones, cars getting into the back and using those bumpers, it's probably a good thing the aero package is not a big a player.
Yeah, exactly. And here we go. Brian Glass is now showing us our leader in that Kroger Kodak Chevrolet.
Got a little loose there. That's my pick for tonight, Coco. So if the rain wanted to come in anytime, I'd take it.
There you go. Well, you got Brian Glass sitting there, but I'll tell you what, the 30's definitely going to be snipping at him right now as Brian dives in. The 15 does take the lead position at this time.
Yeah, Glass hits pit road. Phil Sarnowski still out on track, still is not pitted, currently your leader. We see the 88, Tim Kennedy, unlapping himself out there in front.
Getting his lap back the hard way, they say.
Yeah, Tim, one of the earlier cars to pit, so definitely got the fresh tires, and is going to be walking away from your current leader, Phil Sarnowski. Yep. Yep. We can see the same thing here in 95. Chris Moulton pitted from P2 at the beginning of this cycle, getting around Phil Sarnowski to get his lap back.
Yeah, there's battles all over this track mat that we are trying to give you the most information we can give you.
Here's Buzz Mongold running P2. That's somebody's pick tonight.
Yeah, Michelle called out the number 12, currently in the second position. Buzz still was going to need to pit, but Buzz was one of those ones that pitted early, which means that he probably still has 10 laps in his tank.
Yeah, Buzz and the 24, Gary Kipfer out in front of him. A couple of guys that took advantage of fuel and maybe some right side tires on that first caution. So they've got about 15 laps before they need to pit, catch a lucky caution break, and those guys are back in it.
Yeah, Matt, I just threw up our track map just so people could see kind of where we got our battles. Our battles are all over this track.
Yeah, cars definitely still tight with one another. Buzz Mongold in that 12 Pink Whitney, now your leader in this current pit cycle.
Definitely getting his bonus point for leading the lap.
Yeah, mid-pit cycle like this, it can cause a lot of chaos if a caution were to come out. Right now, you only have 4 cars on the lead lap, so you'd have a majority of the field taking a wave around if a caution comes out in this scenario.
Yeah, that's when it gets real hard for us guys in the booth, and we make our cameramen run around like crazy.
Just seen the 4 Jim Felix down on pit road in that Busch Chevrolet.
Did Jim have to go to the hauler?
Well, I'm not sure. Jump back out with Tim Kennedy. As long as this cycle's around and the 12 Buzz Mongold makes his pit cycle, Tim will cycle back around and maintain the lead after what could be our only round of pit stops tonight.
We're looking at lap 90, completing lap 95 of 160 with the 88 coming, like Matt said, once Buzz cycles through, will be our leader.
Yeah, Tim won race this season, the first race at Bristol here in 8A at KCE Racing. Coco, this is not the only series we run here at KCE Racing. We also have our O'Reilly series on Thursday nights and our truck series that a lot of these guys run on Sundays.
Yeah, the truck series did real well. A lot of participation. The O'Reilly series, always good racing, great participation, and we have a lot of fun with that. The Legacy series with this car is a little harder to handle, but we get most of our veteran drivers on this series. But all in all, any one of our series, check out kceracing.com and come join the fun. These guys are sitting here battling. As you can see, we do racing like this 3 times a week, and it looks like this every time.
Yeah, our O'Reilly series this coming Thursday will be at Bristol, so that'll be another fun race to be a part of. And Gogo, I think you and I will be out on track for that race.
We will be out on that track, and I got to tell you, Matt, I'm not good at it, but I love Bristol.
Gogo, I don't want to interrupt you, but definitely some action you can see out on track with what will be your leader, Tim Kennedy. Got a 3 wide moment there for a second with the 73 and the 79 around the 88.
There was action everywhere. It seemed like a gaggle of problems for the 88, and I was closing my eyes halfway through the turns.
Yeah, and staying out ahead of that, the 95 of Chris Moulton coming out of that pits had a lot more ground to make up, but you see that gap to Tim Kennedy now down below a second, 7/10, 95 to 88. So this lap traffic is playing a role for that leader.
I actually was watching the 88 on go try to get around the 30, and almost gave the 30 that front right bumper, and didn't want to. There was just a bit of a checkup, and I thought we were going to have it.
Yeah, real quick, jumping out in front, you just seen the 15 coming out of the pits. Buzz Mongold, your current leader on old tires. Tim Kennedy looking low. taking that spot back, driving around the whole track to get that spot back. Buzz Mongold's still out on track with those old tires.
Buzz better think about coming on in before he loses that.
Yeah, man, a lot of action out there. These guys are on different strategies, different positions in the track, a lot of tight racing.
Right now we have about our top 9 on the lead lap, and we're fighting for the top 10 of Paul Gall. But yeah, 10 through 20 would be 1 lap down due to the cycling of pit stops.
Yeah, you see out in front of your leader now, Tim Kennedy, the Phil Starnowski in that number 30 Interstate Battery Chevrolet, trying to stay on that lead lap in position number 9.
Yeah, Phil doesn't want to give that up, and rightfully so, right? Right now, if a caution comes out, Phil doesn't have to worry about Lucky Dog. Phil doesn't have to worry about that stuff. Phil just goes around. So 44, we get the Lucky Dog.
Yeah, and as your leader gets closer and closer to the top 5, top 10 of this group, these cars are going to get harder and harder to pass. Obviously, these guys are a little bit better, faster car tonight than some of the guys already a lap down. So P295 going to be looking to capitalize on these guys fighting to stay on that lead lap.
Buzz Mongold finally jumps into the pits, I believe.
Yeah, he does.
.3. Trying to see what Buzz's pit stop time was.
Yeah, you see Buzz in P14 right now, currently 1 lap down, just out in front of your leader, Tim Kennedy. Buzz on the new tires might have a little bit of an advantage to try and maintain that position.
Yeah, if he can get past the 30, get down into a racing line, get a rhythm going, that's what he needs to do right now.
Yeah, he gets that run on entry on the high side and gets it on exit, and he clears the 30.
Yeah, he needed to do that, get that done quick, and now just kind of fall in and just put some laps down, keep those tires underneath them so he has the freshest tires at the end of the race.
Yeah, Kogo, I'm going to flip between two guys right here I want to touch base on looking at our leaderboard. Spencer Britton, driver out on track, might be having a little bit of trouble tonight. Spencer had that early penalty and down 11 spots from his qualifying position, so definitely still battling, but having a tough time tonight here at Martinsville. And I wanted to jump up to a guy that's climbing up that hard charging board, Sam Drought, and that 73. Up 8 positions from where he started in P13. Sam putting on a good race tonight.
Sam's sponsors will be really proud of him tonight, like you said, coming up from 13th at Martinsville after what I would call is all pit stops, right? Currently in the 5th position is a good place to be.
Yeah, then we'll jump on board here with Gary Kipfer in 24. If you remember early on, Gary had that penalty, went a lap down, got his lap back on a different tire strategy, currently still a lap down, but has made positions up to where he qualified in P12.
That's a good comeback from a penalty race that you have to serve. A penalty here at KCE Racing is a drive-through penalty, so you have to do a drive-through after you take the green flag and within 3 laps after taking that green flag. So, it happens early in the race so that you can try to get it back. So to bounce back to where you were is really a good night.
Yeah, jumping back up here with our leaders. Look at the action out in front of them right now. 3 wide, right in front of your leader, Tim Kennedy, and you see what that's done. The 95 is there, right on the back bumper. Jump on board here with Tim, look at the traffic out in front of him.
Yeah, he has to be patient here. He has to be patient. You can see him kind of just biding his time. He's not overworking his equipment, and he's just being smooth throughout. He knows he's got this, the speed over these guys, but he's not going to put himself in harm's way, right?
Yeah, we seen him get loose there for just a second behind the 30th Phil Sarnowski. Gogo, we were talking about that battle to stay on that lead lap with Phil here a few minutes ago now. So Phil doing an excellent job keeping that 88 behind him and staying on that lead lap, and that's worked to Moulton's advantage. Yeah, this track is playing a big role in that, right? There's the one racing line to put down the fast times. You can see Moulton going a little bit higher, searching for something to try and get that run off corner exit on that 88. But going back to the single racing line, around that bottom is the fast way around this track. And you can get the run on the high side, but you have to have that car underneath you pinched down for that to work. So if the 95 can get to the outside of the 88, get that run off the corner, get out there and hold him down, he could make that outside pass. But the 88's going to make him do it.
He's definitely going to force his hand. And the thing is you know as well as I do, this is where you make friends and make enemies. If you do pinch that guy down, you have to trust that he knows you're there and that he's not going to come up and just kind of force you out. So, when you're sitting there racing at Michigan or Pocono and you have the chance, let's say, to get underneath somebody and put them in a precarious position, this is where guys remember you, right?
Yeah. You talk about making enemies, and that could absolutely be done with the drivers out on track around you. But on a track like this, on a short track, half mile, Martinsville Speedway, especially with the lap cars and traffic in front of you, sometimes your worst enemy can be yourself. If the 88 makes that mistake, if he gets impatient following these guys, he could make that mistake and the 95 could capitalize.
Absolutely. We're sitting here completing lap 124 of 160, Matt. We are almost, this race is slowly clicking down, but like you said, we've had action all night long.
Yeah, and as we wind down here, the final 36 laps, the patience is going to start running out for the guys behind your leader.
All right, Matt, your prediction. Patience runs out at lap 130, 140, or 150?
Anywhere between 150 and 160, patience could run out. But at the same time, these two guys fighting for the lead, Tim Kennedy in that 88 and Chris Moulton in that 95, they race around each other enough. I think they're going to be respectful, but that don't mean a bumper won't get real close.
Yeah, it definitely will be close. Chris just needs to keep him right there, keep his bumper in sight, right?
Yeah, you can see the 88 builds a little bit of a gap now that traffic in front of him has dissipated a little bit, but this is not over. You can see out the front window the leader, Tim. A lot of cars, a lot of laps left to go.
Yeah, I just backed us up to the 44 for a moment. I'm not going to go back to it, but the 44 missed his braking mark about a lap ago, and had to take it pretty high in order not to lose it. So did a real nice job recovering on the 44 there.
Yeah, 44 is driving hard, trying to maintain that current lucky dog spot in P9, first car one lap down.
Yes, sir. Back up with our leader there.
Tim looking to try to get around the 55 Shane Bowie in that Budweiser Chevrolet. Gets to his inside, going to get the runoff, and makes that pass.
Yeah, I don't think Shane's going to hold back the 95, letting the 95 go underneath him as, once 88 passed him. Very, very, respectful racing going on right now.
Yeah, and man, that's completely fair for those guys. We talked about it earlier. They're trying to maintain that lap position, but once that leader gets around, they don't want to be the guy that's holding up P2 and impacting the outcome of this race, right?
Nope, let him run. Tim had a little bit of a loose ass end there. Yep, 28 laps. Matt, I don't know. This might be the fastest Martinsville we've had.
Yeah, only one caution so far tonight, so these laps are going by pretty quick.
88 dives under the 21.
That's Mitch Mitchell in that Florida Keys home and boat rental Chevrolet.
Yeah, he's got a nice little gig there, doesn't he?
Yeah, Coco, we talked last week in the broadcast, and real quick, I just seen him out the windshield of Tim. I wanted to jump over to him. Sean Kaiser in that number 2 Origin Chevrolet. I actually looked up that American-made apparel website. They've got some pretty good selections on there.
Oh, nice. I didn't get a chance to look it up, but, American-made apparel, 100%. And, he's, taunting that sponsor around, and we checked it out, but definitely gotta do a look-see on that.
Yeah, Sean Kaiser currently in the top 10 running P6. You know what I think would look real good, and maybe I'm doing somebody else's job for him. American-made Origin apparel. How about putting some red, white, and blue on that car?
There you go. Give me the all-American flag colors. I got that.
Let's run through our field real quick. Coming around 23 laps to go. Tim Kennedy, leader out in P1. Chris Moulton, P2. Third is Jay Crable in that 87 Autocrafter Chevy. P5, Brian Glass. P6, Sean Kaiser. 7th, Phil Sarnowski. 8th, Donald Bonner. Rookie in the top 10. Excellent run by him. 9th position, Shane Bowie. And P10, Paul Gall. Coco, you want to run through the back half of the field?
Yeah, P11, we got Nick Murphy in that Scott's Ford. We have this is interesting, Gary Kipfer, number 24 in the 12th position. Good job, Gary. Number 42, Daniel Bonner in the 13th position. 14th position, Michelle's pick of Buzz Mongol staying out there in the 14th position in the number 12. And Joseph Brockaway in the 15th position in his number 57. We have Jim Felix in the 16th position in number 4. Spencer Britton in the 17th position in his number 15. 18th position is Mitch Mitchell in the 21 and 18th. Shane Fletcher in the 19th position in the car number 34. Last but not least, there's Edwin Post in the 79 in the 20th position, sporting his Jack Daniels. That is our race as is today, guys.
Yeah, jumping back up as we were going through our field before the end of this race, Moulton got back to that rear bumper, that 88. Moulton was your winner last week at Dover.
Yeah, Moulton showed real good at Dover and is again shown great here in the second position. He's staying right with the 88. I just don't know if he got enough to get him up high.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to make that pass up high. If you can get there, it can be done. But you're going to have to send that car deep into that corner, get around the outside quarter of that 88.
He's going to have to push the 88 into a mistake.
Yeah, out in front of the 88, the number 2, Sean Kaiser, we just talked about, still on the lead lap in P7. So he's not going to roll over and let that 88 go by easy.
No, and if you watch, I'm watching the 95. I believe either he overdrove entry last lap or he's doing a later entry into the turn 1. Let's check that
42
out.
heavy damage.
Yeah, we just saw the 42 of Bonner in that Blockbuster video car get up into the wall. Lost the front bumper off that car, and we just saw him tag the inside wall again. Looks like he'll be trying to make it down to pit road.
I don't think these boys want a caution right now. I think that'll change the entire dynamics of this race.
Yeah, with still 13 laps to go, 14 laps to go. Caution right now, with only 7 cars on the lead lap, I think I'd come down and take tires if that were to happen.
I would have to at that point, and we know these boys got tires left over in the pits because they only did a one stop, maybe 2, right?
Yeah, a couple of these guys are on 2 stops. The majority, especially your top 7, are all on 1 stop. We see the 2 get up into the wall. That's going to give your leader a little bit of breathing room to that next car in front of him.
Yeah, Matt, I picked up the pit board for us, and you've got the top 12 or top 11 is with 1 stop.
Yeah, leader coming around, 12 to go. Lap traffic still going to play a role in this. You can see out in front of your leader 4 cars side by side.
And Tim can't wait because that 95 will not just sit there.
No, it looks like these guys out in front got single file, now back double file, the 12, Buzz Mongol and Phil Sarnowski in front of Tim.
95 did get loose coming off the corner, something fierce.
Yeah, he's trying to get everything that car will give him out of these corners. A little bit of a bad break there.
There
Oh,
he
you
goes.
see,
Look.
95 with a little peak.
9 laps to go, so patience is wearing thin.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see, that 95, I think he realized that car can get down in that corner a little bit deeper. He got that little peak on that low side and was able to get that car woed up enough to make that corner and hit that apex.
For the most part, this is where the action is, boys and girls, so we're going to hang here for now until we see something different.
Caution, yellow flag.
Caution flag.
Yellow flag. Brian Glass, we just saw him on camera spin there. Let's see if we can grab that.
Brian goes into the corner here, and looks like they're both pushing pretty hard. 87, 84 just coming off of that corner. Ooh, 87 gets him just a little bit. Oh, they're just both going for the same piece of real estate.
Yeah, jump back live here.
I don't think so, not this late.
Coco, I had to jump back live here and look, a little bit of a varying strategy going on here. 95 Moulton from P2 pits. Looks like Sam Drought. It looks like everybody behind your leader on the lead lap diving down onto pit road. Your leader, Tim Kennedy, hoping those old tires hold up for the last couple laps. We might be on a green-white checker by the time this caution period runs out.
I believe we're going to, and the one thing I know right now is Tim is looking in that rearview mirror going, oh my God, I'm the only one that stayed out.
Yeah. If he can get a jump on the start here and get on that bottom line and hold it, he's got a decent chance on a green-white checker. Moulton is going to have those tires and will likely, I believe, as soon as our pit board cycles through here, be starting. Yeah, it looks like he's coming around, going to be starting on his outside on those at least right side fresh tires. Not sure if you can pull up our pit board pit timer. Maybe we can get a little clue as to how many tires these guys put on.
Moulton looks like a 14.8. That's 4 tires.
Yeah, it's got to be 4 tires.
Is that correct? I believe that is correct. 14, or that was his first stop.
Yeah, we might have to give our graphics guy time to catch up here, but either way, Moulton's on some tires, 2 or 4 tires. He's got some new rubber on that car. Lights are out on the pace car, so these guys are racking them up. Gonna go green here. Pace car makes that hard left turn. Tim Kennedy,
Watch
your
for his
leader.
spin.
See if he gets a good launch here. Moulton to his outside with tires. And green flag is out. Tim gets the launch.
Tim got a great launch off of that start.
Yep, gonna get at the outside. Moulton running that high side, trying to hold him down. Can he keep him? No, Tim gets him cleared. Two laps to go. You know, Tim's
Chris
tires
is
are
back in
still
it.
warm.
This is our final lap, Matt.
Final lap, white flag here at KCE Racing Martinsville. Heading into 3. If Moulton's going to make a move, this is the corner he's got to do it. Makes a dive, thinks twice about getting in that back bumper. Looks to the inside. Tim Kennedy, your winner tonight. Chris Moulton in P2. Sam Drought, P3.
That was a hell of a race. Green flag running there. Those boys are definitely sweating right now.
Yeah, that late race caution green white checker finish shook it up a little bit, but Tim Kennedy able to hold on with those worn tires and take the checkered flag tonight.
We'll watch Tim here as he burns them down. Give us a good burnout, I hope.
Excellent race by Tim. Out in front for a majority of this race, outside of the pit cycle at the halfway point when we had a couple guys cycle to the lead. But definitely led the majority of laps tonight. Comes away with that checkered flag for his second win of this season, 8A in the Gen 4 at KCE Racing.
That's awesome. Tim's out there having a good time. But you know what? Tim Kennedy, Chris Moulton, Sam Drought, all of them hold their heads high. Hell, all the field hold their heads high. That was an awesome Martinsville race.
I'm going to grab P3. You take the first one. All right. Coco, let's see if we can get our podium guys up here in the booth. I'll start with the 73 of Sam Drought. See if I can get him up here in the booth.
Got the gas.
Sam, this is Matt and Coco up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing good, Sam. How'd the car do for you tonight, buddy? Congratulations on top 3 there.
Thank you. I kind of biffed it in qualifying, so I had spent the whole race just trying to get back up to the front.
When we watched you all through, was tire wear a problem tonight?
Actually, wasn't too bad tonight. I don't know if it was just the way I was running it, but you were losing the rears more than the fronts.
Okay, and it was getting hairy there with lap traffic and the leaders coming around. Did you feel any of that pain?
Yeah, I think there was one point I didn't realize Tim was there on my inside. I almost cut his nose off into turn 1.
Yeah, it was getting a little hairy there, but those guys were playing real patient out there. Did you kind of feel that too, that everybody was doing real patient, and it was kind of like real good driving out there tonight?
For sure. There was a lot of positions where guys could have made a dumb mistake. Everybody kept it clean. Little bumps happened here and there, but yeah, it was actually a really good race tonight.
Great, great, great. Well, congratulations on top 3. Matt, you got anything for Sam?
Yeah, congratulations, Sam, on that top 3. Tell us about your sponsor on your car.
Yeah, thank you. My sponsor is Haven Hobby. It's a local hobby shop here in Elyria, Ohio. But yeah, if you go online, I believe it does have a website, havenhobby.com.
That's awesome, man. We'll check that out. We're trying to make an effort up here in the booth to showcase not only our drivers but our sponsors as well. So thank you, Sam. Very good race tonight, and we'll look to see you out on track later this week.
Thank you, guys, and thank you, KCE Racing League.
Thanks,
Good
Sam.
race,
Nice
Sam.
to have you, buddy. Good racing.
You're good.
All right, Matt, you want to grab Chris Moulton, our second place driver? See if we can get the second place driver up here in the booth to talk to us.
Chris Moulton, you got Matt and Coco up in the booth. You got us?
Yep, I do.
Chris, good race tonight. Coming home P2 here at Martinsville in the KC Racing Series. Put on a good battle. You definitely gave that 88 a run for his money tonight. Got to his bumper several times.
Yeah, we had a shot there. I missed a shift on that last restart, and that cost us. So unfortunately that happened, but hey, we'll take P2 any day.
Yeah, it looked like tonight you had a little bit maybe easier time getting around that lap traffic. I think guys were trying to fight that leader to stay on track on that lead lap. Maybe gave you a little bit more grace.
Yeah, that was a little bit of it, and that's part of the reason why I pitted early there, because I knew there was going to be some guys fighting to stay on the lead laps. So that's why I dove in, trying to see if I can get that offset. But yeah, Tim was smart enough, and he came in to beat me to it. So.
Well, good run tonight, man. 2 wins on the season so far, bringing home a P2 finish tonight. Anything you want to say? Thank yous, sponsors, anything?
Yeah, thanks to KCE for putting on a great show, and hi to all my family at home if they're watching. And yeah, looking forward to next week, wherever we go next.
Awesome job again, Chris. Coco, you got anything for Moulton in that 95?
I just want to say one hell of a race, Chris. And I do have one question for you, not to back up a bit, but around lap, I believe it was 158, 157. Did you dive it in a little bit to see what that car would do? It looked like you were trying.
I think that was more getting loose off of 3, and then the accordion effects with the lappers in turn 1. It kind of just all was a perfect storm, and I didn't mean to, but that's how it just happened.
I thought you were taking a peek, buddy. It looked sweet on video. I'll tell you that. It looked sweet. But no, congratulations on our top 2 finish. You made it real exciting for us. I want to thank you for being here and putting down the laps for us here on KCE Racing Tuesday Night Gen 4 Series.
Yep, appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Have a good one. All right, Matt, looks like we're going to grab what? Our winner, Tim Kennedy. See what we can do for him. See if we can get him here up in the booth.
Winner, winner, Tim Kennedy, Matt and Coco up in the booth. You got us?
I got you.
So,
Awesome
Tim,
win.
that was a great win for you. What can you tell us about the car? What can you tell us about the race, buddy?
Yeah, it was a great race. Geez, lots of green flag running there. It was pretty amazing. We got to do a whole pit cycle under green at Martinsville. It's quite unheard of, but that was fun. The car was a little bit of a handful at the end of a run there, as you had to do a lot of careful throttle management, and yeah, my kind of race.
So, Tim, we were watching you come through, lap cars, and, the patience that you showed was immense. But were there some frustrating moments when you were sitting there, let's say behind a 30, or not picking on anybody specific, but that patience, was it wearing thin towards the end?
Yeah, like the last 50 laps were kind of frustrating. Yeah, because I saw Chris, I think after the pit cycle, I maybe had like a 3-second lead on Chris. And as soon as I got into traffic, that dwindled down. I saw him right on my bumper. So I started to push and try to get past them guys, and every time I did, I just heated up the tires and just thought I was going to make a mistake and let Chris get underneath me. So I just decided to kind of take it easy and wait for a moment.
Yeah, we kind of saw that on the track, but it looked like, in all honesty, everybody was battling you, right, the leader. And then once you got by, let Chris by pretty easily. So, understandably so, right?
Yeah,
But
I mean,
they wanted
everyone
to
wanted
stay
to.
there.
Yeah, they wanted to stay in the lead lap for sure, and they were also racing for position. So I'm mindful of that. I mean, I didn't have to pass them, but my main goal was just to try to keep mistakes to a minimum and keep Chris behind me.
Looked like some fun racing, Tim. It really did, and you put on an exciting show for us tonight. Just real quick, is there anything, any friends, family, sponsors you want to say thanks to, hello to, wave to, what have you?
Yeah, thanks for you guys putting on a great league and for broadcasting. Appreciate it.
Hey, Matt, you got anything for Tim there?
Yeah, Tim, congrats on an excellent race tonight, bringing home that checkered flag. Looking like short track king so far this season. 2 wins, Bristol and Martinsville. Definitely one to watch out for on these shorter tracks.
I do love the short tracks, that's for sure.
Well, you put on a clinic tonight. Congratulations on the win. We'll see you out on track for our other series this week, our O'Reilly series and truck series. And Tim, we'll look to see you back on track while we're here in the booth next week. Congrats, man.
You betcha. Thanks, guys.
Coco, I saw a lot tonight. That was really exciting. We saw rookie put on excellent showing out here with these veteran guys. Looking at our final leaderboard, the 119 Donald Bonner up 12 positions, so he is your hard charger tonight. A couple guys, had to fight through some penalties. Gary Kipfer comes to mind, ended up finishing up 1 position from his qualifying after that penalty. So good race by a lot of guys tonight. Tim, like I mentioned in our interview with him, put on a clinic, led a vast majority of the laps tonight at a difficult paperclip Martinsville Speedway.
Yeah, it was a great race by everybody. I think we're ready to sign off for tonight. I would just like to say thanks for everybody listening and and tuning in to the KCE Racing Gen 4 series on Tuesday nights. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be safe, and God bless. Bye-bye.